block Mercury Etzel Lincoln engine. Then they had the tri-power setup of the 390 FE engines. Now eventually what they did when they switched from the 4th generation to the 5th generation, this is where they started to phase out the FE engines, because they still had the FE 390 and they still had the FE 428. They came out with the 429 Cobra jet, which is based on the 385. So that was the first time they switched away from the FE engines and went to the what's called the Lima big block engines. Now the 7th generation is where it gets very interesting. This is where there was a drop to the intermediate platform, and they had a 302 Windsor, then they also had a 351, and then they even had a top of the line 400 Cleveland. So that is where really the big blocks went away and the bigger, heavier engines went away, and they started to go with the lighter engines. So I would recommend, if you're looking for a deal, that the 7th generations with the 400s seem to be pretty readily available. If you don't need the 400, I'm sure you can go even lower in price if you just need a 302. Or the 351M was also a popular option around then. And then when they went to the 8th generation, that's where things got a little more controversial. That's where they had a V6. Then they came out with a really low-powered inline 6, which was like 85 horsepower. Then they had the resurrection with the 9th generation, which is the Ford Turbo Coupe, like you see here. They also had, the 302 V8, the Windsor V8 is probably the most popular engine for the 9th generation, if not the Turbo Coupe. And then for a short period, they had what's called the SX V6, which, just like the Windsor V8, the SX V6 was also made in Canada as well. And then they finished off the 10th generation, is where in 1994 they finally dropped the 302, which was a pushrod engine, and they came out with the first single overhead cam modular engine. So really, the reason I think the Ford Thunderbird is the best classic car, especially the best classic Ford, is from all the pushrod generations from 1954, 1955, when the Thunderbird first came out, all the way to the modular engines. You can really track the history of what Ford did